Bradley Simmonds is an entrepreneur, personal trainer, and content creator. Bradley started his career as a young footballer, transitioning into the world of health and fitness, launching his brand, Get It Done. Bradley has become one of the UK's most well-known fitness influencers, and he brings a wealth of knowledge, which is why I wanted to get him on the podcast. So, Bradley, welcome to the 27th podcast.
Thank you, Bex. Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah. So, for people watching or listening who don't know, Bradley is actually my cousin. So, we have grown up together from a young age, and Bradley's always been someone that I've looked up to from days when I would go watch him play football when he was like 7 or 8 years old to seeing him transition into his incredible career. So I really wanted to get him on because he just has so much incredible energy every time we see each other or chat, and I just feel like I've got like a boost of motivation every time we've been together. So I wanted to get you on, and I think it's great that you're on today. So thank you so much.
And Bex, you inspired me with all your marathon training. We did the 30-kilometre run, didn't we?
Yeah, we did it together.
Me in there. And since that, it's actually I enjoy my running once again.
Really?
You know? Yeah, big time. So
that's so great.
We've inspired each other, which is good.
Oh, thank you, Brad. Your mum and my dad will be proud to hear
that. I know.
So this is obviously the 27th podcast.
Yeah.
So with all my guests, I asked them just to give like an overview of their 20s. I know you're in your 30s now, but your 20s was such an incredible decade. I know. So if you could just take us back to the beginning.
Yeah, so 20s flown by. What a journey. So things didn't work out footballing wise at the age of 19. So I thought at 20, I need a fresh new start. I need to set some new goals.
Yeah.
It was an easy transition from going to a footballer into a personal trainer. But I don't want to be that PT that just spent 10 hours in the gym, you know. I did that to begin with, and you had to graft, had to understand what type of personal trainer I wanted to be. But I always wanted to be more than a personal trainer. And to begin with, I was training lots of celebrities, influencers, and it allowed me to grow my own Instagram, and allowed me to become an influencer myself. And in my 20s, I wrote my own book at the age of 23 with the help of my sister, which helped me buy my first house at 23, which was mad. I worked with the likes of Under Armour, Adidas, GQ, Men's Health. I've trained some incredible people, and I've travelled the world with my job. You know, I've been to the likes of Bali, I've been to the Maldives, Sri Lanka, Barbados. Clients have flown me out to Monaco. It's been a hell of a journey from the age of 20 to now, and I feel like it's just getting started. You know, I've got Get It Done, which I launched just after lockdown, and then I've got my online coaching now, which is doing really well. So I hit the age of 30, and I feel like it's just getting started. You have to pinch yourself sometimes, and I've had an incredible 20s. I've done so much. I've achieved so much. But yeah, I don't think you ever stop thinking I can do more. I can do better.
Yeah. No, I love that, and that's kind of what I wanted to show with this podcast, right? Because people might see you, they might follow you and not really know your journey and just think, wow, look at Bradley Simmonds. He's this incredible personal trainer, but not really know the background to it,
no, of course.
Which is why I want to take it back to the beginning a bit. And obviously with your football career, so for people that don't know, just tell us a bit about what happened there and that transition of, you said you had to pivot and find something different, but how did that kind of play out?
Yeah, so look, my dream was to become a professional footballer. I was at Chelsea from the age of 7. I went signed for Queen's Park Rangers at the age of, I think, 16, 17. Bad injuries, very cliche, but I learned a lot about nutrition and the body during those times. While I was injured, I had a spell in Iceland, which was an incredible experience for about 5 months, where again, continued to learn about nutrition, and that was men's football. So really had to look after my body fat percentage, make sure I was doing a lot in the gym, improve my core strength, improve my agility. Things didn't work out footballing wise. I had a really bad ankle injury, and that's when I decided to get my personal training qualification. So I learned so much from being a footballer, and I was able to take everything I learned into my job, which made it a very easy transition. And I think it made it easier for me to gain clients as well, because I've got that background, I've got that experience. And when I was training footballers at such a young age, I think it was easy because I was able to relate to them. We had the same conversation, we had the same sort of banter, and they felt at ease with me. So, yeah, very easy in transition. And I'm glad I picked that journey because, look, young footballers, when they don't make it, it can be very difficult, very tough. And I did have a spell where I really struggled. But luckily, I had a very supportive family around me. I'm very ambitious myself. I believe in myself, whatever I do. So, yeah, it was easy just to take the next step, set myself a new goal and go for it.
No, I was going to say that. I can't imagine how that must have felt when that's kind of your dream and having to pivot that, and you've obviously done an incredible job at that.
Yeah.
Is there like one key thing then through your 20s that was like a pivotal moment that you think either like gave you that push or something that kind of has stuck with you as that change?
I guess it was the heartbreak of not becoming a footballer and seeing a lot of lads doing really well and earning really good money. And I am money driven. So that gave me the kick up the backside and say, look, well, I'm not going to become a footballer. I can become a very successful personal trainer and obviously go into that industry. So that was always driven, like, I need to earn good money. I need to have a good career. That means I have to graft and put the work in. I was never that one to take a gap year, for example, or go traveling. I always thought, that'd be an even bigger setback, even though you're seeing the world and experiencing great things. For me, that was never my goal. I wanted to earn money and travel while I was earning money. And I think I see a lot of youngsters today going on a 2-year gap year. And I'm thinking, in your 20s, it goes so quick.
Yeah.
That you actually done university, then gone a 2-year gap year. You're now 25 and you're just getting started. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then all of a sudden you're 30. You're like, whoa, and you've got nothing, no assets. You've got no money behind you to get a house, and you're playing catch up. But look, everyone's on their own path. My path from the get go was graft, earn money, save it, invest it wisely, buy properties, and I'm in a good position now. I would obviously like to be in a better position, but I'm working hard to make sure I hit my goals. Yeah,
so you've obviously always had that like drive. Where do you think that's come from?
It's definitely from our family. It's definitely from the Irish side.
Connie said the same thing.
Yeah, definitely. Like, Nan and Gran, you know, they came over from Ireland from a very young age and met each other, went straight into property and just grafted, you know. They made their own success. Yeah. They made their own luck. So it definitely runs in the family. Obviously, your dad, obviously, with his business, has done excellent. So I've had those role models. Your dad's uncles. My dad has always been a grafter as well. So we've always had that in our family. Like, things don't come easy. You have to work hard for it.
Yeah.
Because we've never been served anything on a plate. You know, we've had to, from age of 16, I had to buy my first car, to pay for my insurance. And they're the great lessons that I'm glad that my parents obviously gave me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think in terms of then like get it done.
Yeah.
Do you think you always saw yourself kind of having a business, or is it, again, you just have to like pivot with certain
you have
things?
to pivot all the time. Yeah. So at the time, there wasn't really anything online. I knew a few people doing online coaching, but it was more Zooms, and I was like, I'm not really sure about that. Well, my goal when I was training people abroad and everyone around Belgravia was to create the Bradley Simmonds personal training like academy, where I bring on PTs to work underneath me to then be flown to different like Monaco's, the Barbados, train clients in Belgravia, Knightsbridge, because that's what I was doing. But then I sat down with Uncle Matt, who's also got a great business, and he told me the positives and the negatives from that business plan. The positives were you can have some great PTs, you can have some great people working for you, but the bad side of things is no one's you. And also, if someone does F up, that's down.
It's on you.
That's on me.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you need that, you know? So, yeah, so we've always had great people around us, people to obviously pick brains. And luckily for me, during the lockdown period, things changed and I had to adapt quickly. And everything was then online, live workouts, pre-recorded workouts, creating your own apps. And luckily for me, I had the team to help me support me create that. So yeah, it's been a journey.
Yeah, lockdown. Me and my mum were like every morning on your workouts. Yeah. We loved it, and I think it's amazing that you've then turned that as well into what you have now with your brand.
Yeah.
And I guess it was just kind of like seeing that opportunity, as you say, like who knew that your live workouts could then grow into what you've developed now with Get It Done, and it's 100%. Like constantly like thinking outside of the box, right? You can't just have this one path always, because it's not just going to be linear. You have to constantly adapt.
You have to constantly adapt. And once you get a setback as well, sometimes you go, do you know what, I tried that, didn't work out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to swallow your pride and go, okay, cool. What's another path? What's another opportunity to go down? And I've had many of those. I've had many setbacks.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, you learn from them. You constantly believe in yourself, have the right people around you to support you and give you that tough love as well, or criticism that you need. You can't have yes people around you, which is massively important.
Yeah.
And that's why me and my sister work so well together, because we're so honest with each other, and we know the intentions are good. So yeah, it's good. And recently I've employed 2 girls. Well, actually, it's crazy. I've got 9 employees now.
Wow.
Yeah, which is mad. So I got 4 full-time and about 4 or 5 part-time. And that's a risk. That's the risk you have to take. But it's been a great risk, and I've seen growth and get it done in the last 2 months just employing these girls. So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I was listening to something else you did, and I know that you've spoken to me about it as well, about reinvesting in yourself and constantly, or reinvesting in your business.
Yeah,
and I think
you have to.
I wanted to ask you, in terms of like starting a business, what advice would you give to somebody? Because I think sometimes we all are guilty of just wanting that like quick, instant success. That doesn't happen with a business.
No, of course it doesn't.
Again, with this podcast, people might see that you have get it done, and they saw you go from doing your home workouts during lockdown to now you've got this business, and they're not seeing maybe so much of that background.
No, they're not. What
would be your advice to someone who's wanting to get that, and I guess just advising them on like, you're not going to have that instant success.
No, you're not have that instant, no. So you need a little bit of money behind you, of course. You need to put some serious hours in, so you need to sacrifice a few things for sure. You constantly need to be planning, and what's the word I'm looking for? Just be mentally strong, because there's a lot of setbacks. It's difficult, building your own app or wanting to build your own gym, for example, start your own business. There's so much that goes wrong. So you have to be tough-skinned. Yeah. You have to be tough-skinned, and just keep going.
Yeah, and I guess like trust your instinct, because it's your brand, right? And you obviously believe in it, that it's going to do well.
Yeah, I believe it's the best. It will be the best out there, Yeah. Obviously, there's difficulties when you build your own app from scratch. Your customers don't always recognize how hard you're working or how much money you're throwing into that behind the scenes. So that can be quite difficult. But again, I know this time, in a year's time from now, that app will be incredible. Yeah. And hopefully I'll be able to white label it to other influencers who are trying to start their own business, to make it a little bit affordable for them. That's my goal, because it's so expensive building an app from scratch, or finding an investor to be willing to do it, especially if you haven't got a large following. So yeah, that's my goal, is to get it done and white label it to other influencers who are coming through, who need that extra bit of support, and maybe I can come a bit of a mentor as well. Yeah, exactly. I think that would be amazing. Like, I know just from people who I speak to who know you, or they maybe don't know you, but they follow you, and they're like, they think you're so incredible and you've got so much knowledge, because you do. And I think there's so many people that would love to have like that piece of advice from you, or kind of that like connection to know. Yeah, no, honestly, I think the best advice is have a vision, set a plan, and then take action. Yeah. So you have the vision. Let's say you want to open up your own cafe. You need to go and do your homework. You need to figure out how much it's going to cost, how much earnings you're going to get, the profit, what's a good area, where's there good traffic, because you could pick a really nice shop, good area, however, it hasn't got the traffic at all, and you haven't got the profit. So make sure you do your homework, pick people's brains. And then see if you can find an investor. Make that business plan, put it in front of someone. It can even be a family member who's got a bit of money behind them. They go, I'll go in with you. And then it's action. Employing a team. Yeah. It's really, you can't do everything by yourself, which I learned when I was very young. You have to have people around you. You can't do everything, because you do just stand still or actually go backwards. Yeah. Employing the girls I've employed recently, me and my sister sat down and said, how the hell did we do everything we did? Yeah. Now we've got more people on. Like, it's still a lot, but how me and my sister did what we did was incredible. So, yeah. And if you've got friends who are willing to put the time and effort in as a side hustle, that's a great way to start. Yeah. You say, look, we're not going to earn money now, but as a side hustle in the next 5 years, wow, this could be our main source of income. This is going to be incredible. Yeah. So yeah, just have that vision, set a plan, and go for it. Yeah, I remember actually when we had this chat on the 30K run that we did, and I was asking you a bit of advice, and you said to me, if you can just put 2 hours into yourself every evening, like you work all day, 2 hours, that's all you have to put in. And that kind of stuck with me. And obviously doing this, I've got to put a lot of work into it, right? After work, on my weekends, everything. And yeah, I was really glad that you said that to me, because it was kind of like, I guess, that kick up the ass that I needed to be like,
if I want to do something different or something more, I can't just go home and do my job and then sit on the sofa. Like, just that 2 hours makes such a difference.
The majority of people work that 9 to 5 lifestyle, which obviously the schooling and the college system has pushed us, the majority of people to do. You do it and it's not very satisfying.
Yeah.
You go, wow, I've worked so hard. I did my SATs, my GCSEs, my A-levels, got my degree, whatnot, and I'm not satisfied. What's satisfying is doing something for yourself. Having your own business,
having that
because
freedom.
And getting that dopamine or getting that sense of achievement when you've done something yourself and it's your business. And I always say, have a side hustle. Like I said to you, you got 2 hours to watch Netflix, whether it's Jeremy Clarkson's Farm or Narcos, or you got 2 hours to watch that, which is nice. You can need to relax, but to get real satisfaction and fulfillment in life, I feel like you have to do something yourself. And look, whether that's joining a run club and doing exercise, of course. But if you're an entrepreneurial like we are from our family genetics, then you have to have that side hustle, because I think that 9 to 5 will wear you out. It will kill your excitement and drive, and then it'll make you live for the weekend. And I live every day. Every day is different for me, you know?
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that's like something that I see in you as well, which is that like ultimate goal, I guess, is that freedom. And that you say you live every day. That's so amazing.
No, it's freedom. It's like I work hard and I've got freedom with it, you know. And don't get me wrong, still want to improve my lifestyle. I think I'll have a family and kids hopefully one day. We're coming to that age now, so I want to make sure that their life is very comfortable. Not too comfortable. I want my kids to work hard, but a sense where you live in a nice area, kids go to a good school, holidays are good. But that's why I put the graft in.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a bit actually about Instagram.
Yeah.
Taking it back a little bit, because I know there was a point where Instagram for a lot of people was quite like a good income earner, right?
Yeah, it was great.
And you said yourself like you worked with different brands. What kind of made you realise that you needed maybe something more than Instagram, and that couldn't be something that you relied on?
Look, I'll be straight up. So I was earning incredible money from brands, over £100,000 a year from certain brands. So I might have earned 400 grand a year just from brand deals, ambassador roles. And I thought, unbelievable. And you're grafting, you're creating content for the brands. Next minute, your engagement drops because your page and your Instagram has just become a billboard. So your followers aren't seeing the authentic you or what you're trying to create. All of a sudden, because your engagements drop, brands go, we don't necessarily want to work with you anymore. We're moving on to someone else, or we're changing our strategy. So I went from earning 400 grand to going, oh my God, what am I going to do with myself? How can I maintain earning 400 plus grand a year? And I was like, I have to start my own businesses. And I can't do 12 hours of PT a day because I'll become exhausted, even though you can earn really good money, especially when you're training people in Knightsbridge and Belgravia. So it's like, I have to change this because I can't rely on Instagram. Yes, I might get the little deal here and there, and I'm very picky with who I work with now. But that can't be my main source of income, because I would drive myself mad. My anxiety goes off the roof when you're waiting for deals to come in. So for me now, all I can control is my businesses. So putting the graft in, maintaining good engagement with my followers so they come on board and get it done. Keep producing that good content so I gain more leads from online coaching. And then that way I can grow. That's what I can control. Yeah. I can't control what brands want to work with me or not. No. And if a brand wants to work with me, or I get invited to go to a really nice resort away, then great. That's a great bonus. But that means I still can do my get it done and my online coaching while I do with this brand deal, while I go away abroad. So yeah, for any influencers out there listening, or anyone who wants to become an influencer or a TikToker, be very careful what you wish for, because your following might shoot up to 200, 300,000 in that year, and you'll have a very good 2-3 years. But after that, you might not be forgotten about, but strategies change.
Comes along,
brands have a different eye on someone else. Yeah. And if you haven't started your own business from the success you had in those 3-4 years, then you could be in a silly position. Not a silly position, a very... what's the word? Difficult position financially.
No, you've got to do something that's sustainable, right? Because, as you say, like a brand could just decide suddenly that they don't want to work with you anymore, and then you're relying on that. And I think sometimes it looks like there's a real glamorous life being an influencer or something, but I guess it does, as you say, comes with that anxiety of not knowing what the next deal's going to be, or if it's going to carry on in a year's time. And,
100%. I see so many people like in my industry, and I talk to them how's things, and like, oh, it's really tough. Yeah. They've got 1 million followers. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's true.
So it's important that you build that authentic audience, that credibility of your audience, and obviously that relationship with the audience, that they trust you, and you offer them a service which they can benefit and better themselves. That's really important.
Yeah. So for anyone, I guess, starting out, wanting to do that, maybe wanting to become a PT or build their Instagram following, what would be your like 2 or 3 key pieces of advice to them?
Make sure your content is useful. You know, give as much knowledge and free advice as you can. Help people with their nutrition, help people with their workouts, simplify things. Don't have to be too scientific or extra with your content or your wording. Just simplify things. Make it entertaining to watch, of course. That's really important. It has to be catchy. And just be consistent with it. Find what works for you and what works for your audience. And once you found that, then go. For example, the content I created 2 years ago or a year ago gave me followers like crazy, right? I'm continuing that content and it's not doing the same.
Yeah.
It's moved on.
Yeah.
Like life moves on. So now the content that's really gaining good engagement is just showcasing what I do every single day and what I eat whilst I train, whilst I come to this podcast. To give an insight of what my life is and who I am as a person.
Yeah.
And now I'm doing it every day. It's really exhausting, actually, having to film everything. But that's what my audience is enjoying. Now I'm seeing a massive increase in people wanting to join the Get It Done app, and people want to do my online coaching just because I've adapted my content. So sometimes you have to swallow your pride and go, this is what I think looks good, but no, this is what actually works.
Yeah.
So that's really key.
And I guess you've got to live out your brand, right?
Yeah.
If you're a health and fitness brand, you've got to be, you can't be someone who's not into that if that's you're the face of it, right?
100%,
So you've got to
of course.
show what you're doing, what you're eating, what your lifestyle is like, because people are buying into that and they're buying into you.
100%.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to ask with Get It Done, because obviously the fitness industry is quite saturated. There's a lot of people.
Saturated. But when I first started, it was just me and a few other people.
Yeah, but I use Get It Done myself and I love it. Yeah. What is different about it? Like, what are you trying to shape, I guess, in the health and fitness world with Get It Done?
Yeah, I'm just showcasing, obviously, everyone's, whether you're a mum, whether you're working in the city, most people, especially in London, only have 30 minutes to work out. So I'm creating 30-minute workouts, which are going to engage different muscle groups, going to get a nice sweat on. You're training to good music and my energy, so you can enjoy that 30 minutes, and you're going to get fitter, stronger with it. And of course, I'm going to give you advice, as I do on the Get It Done app and my online coaching with your nutrition. And nutrition is so important, not for the way you look, but the way you feel. For your gut microbiome, for your mental health, your energy levels, your focus, your brain performance, everything. Yeah. So that's what Get It Done is all about. Our 5 pillars are obviously physically fit, emotionally healthy, mentally healthy, financially healthy. Something that we want to start really focusing on as well, because if you're not financially healthy, everything else becomes pretty much not zero, but it can has a massive effect.
It has a huge impact.
And I think it's social as well, because even myself, I find myself focusing on businesses all the time, traveling with work, that I'm like, I ain't got a social life. What am I actually working so hard for? I'm earning this really good money, but I don't feel satisfied in my social life.
Yeah.
I see my friends moving on, having kids, and I'm still in Fulham. And we used to go out in Fulham or hang out in Fulham when we was 25. I'm still in Fulham. Yeah. They're all moving out to Surrey and other places. And it's a Saturday. I'm like, anyone fancy coming to Fulham? So it's that's really important. That's something I'm looking at myself is how healthy is my social life right now? You know? So I might be healthier than the others, but there's that one pillar there that I think I need to improve on right now. Yeah. I have got great friends. I've got great family. But when everyone's doing their own thing and focusing on themselves, I'm like, sometimes it is just me and Roots, which just sounds sad, but I'm just at the age now. You're hit 30. Yeah. You know, so.
No, that is something I was going to ask you actually, in terms of like relationships with your friends or other people. Like, how do you think that has changed through your 20s? And have you had to adapt that, especially with like the growth of your business and, as you say, grafting, putting your head down? Like, do you feel people have come and go, or how's it changed?
Yeah, like look, when you're younger, your circle's a bit bigger, you know. Yeah. You play for a football club, next minute you hang around with all the lads that play football. I hang around with my brother's friends and then my other brother's friends, and you're getting introduced to different people. And when you're single, there's some single lads as well. It'd be good to hang out with them, etc. But as you're older, when you're more focused on your business, people having serious relationships, your circle becomes so small. I'm very fortunate. I've got 2 older brothers who are like my best mates. Like you got your sister, for example, and obviously Connie, of course, is my best mate too. And then I see my other best mates. When I was 20 to 25, lads I saw every weekend without fail. Lads I went to Ibiza with, I went to Vegas with, played football with. I don't see them hardly anymore. Yeah. Of course, I have those phone calls, and when I do see them, it's like we haven't not seen each other for ages. Yeah. But it's difficult. It's different. Yeah. And I'm not the type of person now to start hanging around with 25-year-olds just because I live in Fulham. Mm-hmm. I'm at the stage now where I'm really hoping to find someone in a relationship. Yeah. And we can talk about relationship, but finding a relationship, especially in London, is quite difficult. So yeah, we can definitely talk about that. So look, it's just a change. It's just a change. So yeah, but look, I'm 30 now. I'm grafting my business. That's my main priority, and I understand that's all my friends' main priority as well. And that's just life. Yeah. In your 20s, yes, you're grafting, you're having a good time, but when you hit 30, there's definitely a change. Yeah, no, completely. And I didn't know with like, as your success has grown as well, if you've kind of had to be like a bit careful with people that are around you as well, or has that not really been a thing? Yeah, like I've never been a yes man. Yeah. I've always been a good judge of character. If I like you, I'll spend time with you. If I don't, I'm not bothered. Yeah. But I guess with girls, it's maybe a little bit different. Yeah. Because you don't know what their intentions are. Do they want to date me because I'm someone, because of the status side of things, or do they want to date me because they like me as a person and they can see a future with me? It's difficult. Yeah. That's difficult. Exactly. That's always been quite difficult. Yeah. No, it's hard to navigate as well. But I know that you've always had like your few like core friends as well, that from when you were younger and everything. So of course. I think that's so amazing to have as well. And I think even myself, I've been struggling a little bit recently with that balance of like wanting to really get my head down and work really hard, but also when you take a step back, then like I just say, what is that if you don't have a bit of a social life or people around you as well? Because you can just get so consumed by it. No, and of course. Yeah, already I'm like, okay, I need to take a step back a little bit and enjoy myself still, but also have that balance, because you're not going to be successful, right? If you're just going out all the time. If you're working 9 to 5 and you go to the pub on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and you're spending your money, you're earning, after paying all that tax, you have to tax, and then you're just chasing your tail, you're never going to be successful, you know? So you have to find that balance. You always have to have something to look forward to in the diary. Yeah. Like, I've got Glastonbury coming up. Yeah. So I'm grafting my nuts off knowing that Glastonbury, I can take 3 days off and absolutely just relax. Yeah. So having something in the diary is really important, because that motivates you to graft. Have your 3 days to relax or to enjoy yourself. Graft there. Where some people don't have anything in the diary. They just live Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Go again. And Monday, it's just like Tuesday, Wednesday, they're feeling rubbish about themselves. It's a cycle. So and that's too many people in the UK. Yeah, and I've definitely been in that cycle myself, like not for a couple of years I would say, but there was definitely one point in my early 20s where I worked in like a really boozy environment, and from like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday you'd go out, feel rubbish all weekend but still go out, and then Monday you'd feel crap still. And it's like I was trying to get myself to the gym. I remember I went to Gym Box in Holborn, and I'd be like rocking up in the morning, barely doing anything, and then going to sit in the office and just that constant cycle. And I think I still see so many people like that. So many people doing it. Yeah. If someone is listening to this who is thinking, okay, that's me, like I love my weekends, but they're kind of just living for that, what would be like your word to them, just to kind of give them that little nudge? Well, look, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? And understand, if you want to get to that person you visualize in 5 years' time, you've got to sacrifice a few things. You've got to stop being a yes person. And sometimes say, no, I've got to wake up, I've got to do my workout, I'm going to stick to my routine. But we've got something in 2 weeks' time, which I'm really looking forward to. Guys, I can't wait for that. I'll see you then. And when you do see them, you've got things to talk about. Yeah. You know, and you will get your friends winding you up, because deep down they're thinking, I should be doing what they're doing. But I'm going to knock, and they're going to try and knock you anyway. Yeah. You're the boring one. You're the sensible one. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't have enough banter, for example. Yeah. But they'll be the ones ask you for a little chat, saying, mate, I'm struggling. Asking for advice. I need some advice. How can I take my business to the next level? What do I need to do? I'm feeling absolutely exhausted right now. Yeah. So that I've had that since I was 20. Yeah. I've been called boring. I've been called, you don't have enough banter. Sometimes when I just rock up to a house party, say hello and go home. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be talking about football. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be doing small talk when I will do that, but not all the time. Yeah, you've got to do what works for you, right? Yeah. And
I was going to ask you, so in terms of like balance, you're running multiple things.
Yeah.
You still have all your content. You're now managing people.
Yeah.
You have roots to look after.
Yeah, God, that's
all
a
of these
priority as
things.
well.
Like, how do you balance it, or do you think there is such thing as balance?
Yeah, I guess I do balance it. And I probably need to balance it better. For me, the most important thing is my sleep. If I don't get good sleep, everything just goes out the window, and that's a struggle. So I always make sure I'm in bed at 10 o'clock. Alarm's gone at 7, so I'm up. I'm feeling good. Really reduced my alcohol intake, because since I've got older, that's really affected me, my brain performance, and just my performance in total.
Yeah.
So definitely reduce my alcohol intake. And being more organised. Luckily, I've got a team now who they put things in my diary, so I'm organised. So I know what's ahead, and I'm not panicking. That's really important. And then just finding that balance in the evenings, catch up with friends, catch up with people who are doing well. That's really important.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned, have something in the diary where you can go, all right, guys, don't call me, don't message me.
Yeah.
We've got content we've created, which we post in those next 3 days.
Yeah.
I need to go and relax. I need to go and switch off.
Yeah, I think that's so important, because otherwise you're constantly just on a cycle of go, 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 to the point where you then burn out.
You're go, go, go. You don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
You go, go, go. You don't have a clue where you're going.
Yeah.
You hit a brick wall, and your creativity is just completely not there.
Yeah.
And everything's affected. I've been there myself. When you go, 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 yes, you might be earning money, as in like cash in hand, doing PT and etc. But there's where you going, mate? Like, what are you doing? What's the vision? Because I'm telling you now, when you're 30, you ain't got the energy to train 10 people a day.
Yeah.
So yeah, you need to start thinking ahead.
Yeah, I guess it's about having the vision, but also the steps that you're going to take to get there as well. Because otherwise you're just, as you say, you're going on a path, but you don't really know where you're going.
And like, well done for working hard. Great. You have to work hard, but you have to work smart. I think in your young 20s, working hard because you learn so much is really important.
Yeah.
But when you start hitting 25, that's when you need to think in smart. Because before you know it, you're 30. And you got your mum and your nan asking you when you're going to get married.
Oh, I had it last weekend. Yeah. No, it's so true. And I think that's something we can all take, as like putting those steps in place to know where you want to get to, right? Because you've got to do that. Otherwise, you're just leading a path.
Yeah.
That constant cycle of, I want my life to be here, but nothing's changed. Year after year, it's just changing.
Yeah, of course. You could be in the same job. You could be with the same friends who don't inspire you anymore or motivate you anymore. You could be in the same relationship which you're just dragging out because it's comfortable when it's actually not doing you any good. Like there's a lot of people in that position.
No, exactly. And I know you've spoken about this before, but a lot about how much your environment affects how you are as well, and the people around you, the job, even where you're living. Like, all of these things can have such an impact on you, and I think it can be really scary to actually take that leap sometimes. And
look, it was like moving from Ealing to Fulham was like, financially, obviously it's far more expensive to live in Fulham than it is in Ealing, but I was willing to take that because I know how motivated I would be in that area. I've said this on podcasts before, like in my area you got loads of people doing very well. You go into the gym, you go to a coffee shop, there's people there doing really well, so you constantly got that motivation where oh good, I feel lifted, time to go home to graft again. I think that's really important. If there's energy in your environment. I've got some friends who I can sit down and talk about business for 2 hours. We can talk about finances. We can talk about this, that. And I've got friends who we don't talk about money at all. It's just relax. Do you know what I mean? So I've got friends for different things. And it's important to have those people that are doing better than you or on the same page, or who are just ambitious and got these incredible ideas, which you can take something from. And then it's also important to have your friends, like we mentioned, from day ones where you can just completely relax. And I can not be that Bradley from Instagram. I can just be Bradley from when we were growing up. Yeah,
exactly. And I saw that you posted a while ago, actually. I think it just stuck in my brain, but quite a long time ago, about trying to like meet people and get in touch with people just to have like a coffee once a month. And I think you said it was something you were trying to do.
Yeah, it's something I try and do quite often.
Yeah. And for anyone listening, like thinking, how the hell do I do that? What would be your advice? Just literally message someone on Instagram?
Yeah, well, look, you got to showcase that you're doing well yourself, like that you're grafting yourself, you're putting the effort in. You can't just have an idea and say, hey, reach out to people. When you reach out to someone, they need to see either your Instagram or I don't know, is it Twitter or whatever social media platform that you're also putting graft in. For example, you're doing a podcast now. You could then message someone, I'm doing my podcast. I'd love to go for a coffee with you. We can talk about ideas. Because you put the graft in, they'll be willing to go, yeah, let's do that. Whereas if you hadn't started the podcast, I'd be like, well, I would be wasting my time. So put that initial work in first. Show that you've got the work ethic and you've got the energy that they want to be around, and then people will be willing to meet up with you, have a coffee. You know, and if you don't ask, you don't get. Something I've always said. Yeah,
it's so true. I've kind of found that with this. I'm like messaging so many people and kind of just almost like taking a chance on me, but showing like I believe that this is going to do well. It's something I've wanted to do 100%. For a while, and you've got to take that chance in yourself and have that belief in yourself.
And you have to be willing to. There's going to be a lot of rejection when it comes to people wanting to come on your podcast, even myself, you know. Obviously, I've got a large following. I've reached out to certain people when they say, look, I can't do it right now. I'll do it maybe in 6 months. I'm like, is that, or do they just not want to come on the podcast?
Yeah, they don't want to say no.
But that shouldn't stop you from doing the podcast, because get your podcast to the point where they start asking you, can I come on? That's the goal.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted to ask you, actually, because this is something, again, I've spoken to you about offline and asked your advice for, but how do you deal with setbacks or criticism? I can imagine with such a large following on social media, you probably, I don't know if you do, but you probably get it every so often. Or how do you deal with that and not taking it personally or a knock to you?
Do you know what? I think when I was younger, when I was a little bit more insecure, because I think I overachieved from a very young age, like 6 months into personal training, you're training John Terry. Like that was incredible, you know. So I was quite insecure because I knew I wasn't where I should have been when it comes to experience, when it comes to knowledge. But I did a great fucking job. Sorry about my language. I did a great job. And that's why I was able to sustain it. So I was insecure, but now I'm experienced. I'm 30 years of age now. Nothing bothers me, you know. There's a site called Tattle. Have you ever heard of a site called Tattle?
Yeah, I have.
And this is where trolls go on to Tattle and they talk absolute nonsense about individuals. And there's a page about me. And I read through it and actually go, that's a great idea. They're spot on there. I actually haven't thought about that. So I use it as a positive. There's things that,
like a motivation.
There's things that I read and go, that's typical. Oh, he loves himself, all that nonsense. Cool. You can look at my page and it's just stereotyping me. But there's some things in there sometimes I go, do you know what? They're actually right. So I use that sometimes as a positive. How can I turn a negative into positive? And always have had that mindset. If it comes to business, that didn't work. Okay, what can I learn next time? You know, I can't be doing that. Or I'm knackered. I need to just take 3 days off so I can actually go again. You know, so every day's a lesson, and I don't think that will ever change. But always try and see any positive out of negative. It's tough when there's money involved, of course. There's been times when I've lost a bit of money. But luckily I was younger and I've got a family, I haven't got kids, I haven't got an incredible big mortgage to pay. So, and luckily I've learned from that. So now I'll be able to be a little bit smarter with my decisions.
And that's great advice, because I think it can be really hard sometimes when you are getting those setbacks, but you've obviously got to have quite a thick skin, and I think you've probably grown that over time as well.
I think I've grown over time. I think from my childhood as well has helped. Obviously I was one of four, you know, having two older brothers and a sister. They toughened me up big time. We always were winding each other up, calling each other like names, like nothing too serious, but so I've always been tough as nails as a kid. I've always been quite mentally strong. I've always believed in myself. As a kid I got called cocky quite a lot. I think it was just people mistaking my confidence. In fact, I did believe in myself, and I was able to go and achieve things that which other kids weren't able to do when it comes to obviously football or whatnot. So I've always had eyes on me ever since a young age. Do you know what I mean? So I've always been able to deal with it.
No, exactly. And I think in terms of then with your business, I guess it's like a different aspect, but that risk taking, is that something that you are always, I guess, striving to do? Like, I know there's a lot of things out there that say like fail fast, like take all these risks. You've got to do that. Is that something that you're trying to? How do you balance that again with get it done, because it's your
honestly, I listen to a lot of podcasts, I read books. Any successful businessman has had to take risks, you know. So I know you have to take risks in life or in business to obviously take that next step. But instead of just doing the first idea that comes to my mind, which I used to do when I was younger. It's now just obviously planning it, having the right people around me, picking people's brains. Is this a good decision? For example, I wanted to open up my own gym 5 years ago in London, central London, and I didn't realise how expensive it is, the cost. I was like, oh, I'm not ready for that now.
Yeah.
Not ready for that. I still need to build the brand. I need to prove to myself, to investors, that it can be done. Probably at the age of 24, 25, I would have been too experienced.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's about looking to those ideas properly.
Yeah.
And if I fail, I fail. It is what it is. But at least I tried.
Yeah.
That famous saying, you don't want to regret something that you didn't do, you know?
No, exactly. And that's what I was saying about this.
Yeah.
Like, there were so many reasons why I could have just not gone ahead
Yeah.
and started this podcast, but there's so many reasons why I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And if I didn't do it, I knew that I would always regret not pushing myself and stepping outside my comfort zone. And I know that's something you are so big at championing as well.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to step out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, you have to.
It's scary.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, and that's not just business. That's with your with your physical health as well.
Yeah.
That's challenging yourself like you did with those tough runs, with those long marathon runs. Yeah, you always have to step outside your comfort zone. Otherwise, you'll always just stand still.
Yeah.
And you'll end up despising yourself and potentially be that person who's got a chip on their shoulder and quite jealous of other people doing well. And you do not want to be that person.
No, exactly. I think that's so true, because if you're happy with what you're doing and you're content and focusing on yourself and what you're achieving, I don't think you have that jealousy.
No,
that look about
you don't look at you look at people and go, he's doing well, what can I take from that person? Or
exactly.
she's doing incredibly well. Wow, I would love to sit down with her and see what she's getting up to. And I'm happy that she's doing well. But that's only because I'm doing well myself in a way, and I'm working hard towards myself. There's people in my industry when it comes to online coaching apps doing far better than I am. So I'm constantly seeing, what are they doing that I'm not doing?
Yeah, what can I take from them?
Yeah, what can I take from them, you know? And like, just for example, now, like, I did my retreat in Bali, and then I'll try to do my retreat this year. We're still going to do it in Bali, but it's incredibly hard to get people doing retreats now. Obviously, financially, people are in a different position. After COVID, everyone couldn't wait to just spread their wings and travel. Yeah. Now they've kind of done it. They're happy to stay in the UK. And so now we've just quickly learned, no, we're just going to do events, one-day events, maybe some boot camps, maybe some seminars, and just keep it local, keep it UK. So that's something I've learned as well.
Yeah. And I guess keeping that, like, education side of it down as well. Because people want to learn from you, and they want to know that you're constantly, like, this wealth of knowledge, I guess. And you've got to, do you find out something as well that you have to kind of keep up with, constantly learning?
Like, you have to be, because as an online coach, I'm training all different people, you know, people going through the menopause, people with PCOS, you've got guys who are struggling with their testosterone levels, you got people that have have eating disorders or borderline eating disorders. So I'm constantly having to learn, having to just train different people in different ways, nutrition plans, different nutrition type of plans. And I guess that comes from experience. Like I said, 20-year-old me would not be able to do what I'm doing now with online coaching. Yeah. So it's been a journey.
It's that constant development, right?
It's that constant development.
Yeah.
It has to be.
And it is a journey. And that's what, like I said at the beginning, that I wanted to show with this podcast, is that I think sometimes we're kind of sold this dream of, like, put some work into something and you'll be really successful. But everyone who is that person has put in so much work and has gone on such a journey, and it's never just going to be from A to B. No. It's going to be, like, up and down. There's going to be good days and bad days, right? But I want to show that you can still achieve amazing things, or if you're on a path that you don't want to be on, you can still change it.
You still can change it, no
even
matter
if
what
you're
age
not in
you
your
are.
20s. You can still change it no matter what age. And that's what I'm trying to show, and I hope by sharing different people's stories and, like, expertise and advice, people just have that, like, motivation to kind of, I guess, get unstuck if they just feel they're stuck in one place and they want to change. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
How many people are on a really good salary but hate what they do? Yeah. And they're scared that they're not going to be on the same salary doing something they enjoy. Yeah. But it starts with a side hustle to see if that can be a journey that you can go on. Yeah. That's really important. And also, like, would you rather be on 150 grand a year and hate what you do, or 100 grand a year and love what you do? Yeah. The things like that, you know? It's
so true, because you've got to think of your whole life, right? It's a whole picture. And if you've got a great income, but everything else in your life is kind of falling down because you're not seeing your family, you're not seeing your friends, you're not healthy because you can't go to the gym, you can't eat well, you're working late. What is the point?
What is the point? What is the point? Exactly.
Yeah, and I think it's just that constant kind of checking in with yourself and being like, what actually is it that I want? Like, what is happiness or freedom to me?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be what it looks like to you or to me.
Exactly.
It's what 100%. It is to yourself.
Look, and not everyone's like really ambitious like we are. Some people do like to say in their comfort zone, and that's fine. Yeah. Because a lot of people listen to this might be going, "Oh my God, do I need to do something?
Yeah. What do I need to do? Go.
But you might not be made for it. You might be very happy with your 9 to 5 and do your little things and have things in the diary that you enjoy and be in a nice relationship. But it's not for everyone.
No.
But if you are ambitious, you feel like, oh God, there's something I need to do, or I want to earn more money. How do I do it? Then start thinking.
Yeah.
Start thinking.
There's always a way to change.
There's always,
Yeah, and I guess even if somebody isn't that person, your health, right, is such
your health
a
is
pivotal
first,
thing. And I just want to ask, like, you touched on it with your 5 pillars of get it done, but if somebody feels like they are just, their diet's really poor, they're not exercising, they're not sleeping well, they're drinking too much, where do they start?
Well, they start by reducing, not just cutting out straight away, just reducing the bad food, reducing the alcohol, just start reducing it. And then slowly stop the alcohol, stop eating the bad food, and start really improving their gut microbiome. Like, this is something that's going everywhere in a minute. Every podcast you hear about it and you see all over Instagram. So your gut microbiome is your second brain. And for us to be mentally healthy, mentally fit, mentally able, mentally focused, it all starts from our gut microbiome. So eating a whole food diet, trying to get some probiotics in there. So whole foods and things like, I always say the 3Ks, kefir, kombucha and kimchi, just put some good bacteria into your stomach. That's going to give you the energy. That's going to give you that serotonin. That serotonin is the happy hormone, the hormone that we need to be creative, ambitious, to have all these ideas. And then you're fueling yourself with the correct foods to give you the energy to go in and achieve those ideas that you want to achieve. If you're constantly eating bad food, you're going to be lethargic. You're not going to have that creative mindset or that motivation to do anything. And you're not going to have the energy to get up. You're going to be massively deficient in protein, which is the most important macronutrient for you to change your body composition. And when we change our body composition, we feel confident. When we see ourselves in the mirror and we like what we see, we feel good, right? And we want to go, oh, I want to show everyone else how good I look. Or you're happy to go into situations because you feel good.
Yeah, you feel confident.
You're happy to do a podcast. You know what I mean? You're happy to put yourself in front of other people. And then sleep as well. It really improves your sleep. If you're drinking alcohol, eating really bad food, you ain't getting that REM sleep. And that's so important to get that really important REM sleep, which is that deep sleep, to allow you in the morning to wake up and again be creative.
Yeah.
If you're not creative, if you're not ambitious, how do you expect yourself to go forward?
Yeah.
You know, so it comes from looking after your nutrition, having that physical exercise. It's proven now that physical exercise is so good for your mental health and your brain performance, your memory, your cognitive function, and hydrating yourself, massively important. Always say, get those electrolytes first thing in the morning. It's something you've been doing lately. Yeah. Not just water, get electrolytes in the morning. And if you just do those 3 things, improve your nutrition, exercise more often and sleep well, your life can completely transform. And it's not rocket science. And if you need the help through a Get It Done or online coach, and go and invest it, that'll be the best investment you ever make. People are happy to pay to get their hair done or their teeth done, but it's strange they're not willing to speak to an expert or someone that actually can help with their nutrition and their exercise and their sleep, which would actually completely transform them. It's strange, isn't it?
It maybe comes back to that short-term fix. Like going to get your hair done takes a couple of hours.
Yeah, getting your nails done, it gives you that quick dopamine. Oh, I feel good.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
spray tan, that makes me feel good for the night.
Yeah, but actually, if somebody signs up to coach with you, they know that they've got months to kind of work on it, and it takes a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're not putting that in, you're not going to get results.
No, this is it.
I've learned that through like my marathon training as well. Like so many people said to me like, oh, I don't know how you did that. I'd never be able to do it. And I'm like, I didn't just wake up and run a marathon, right? Like, or a lot of people said to me the second time around, oh, it'll be really easy this time because you've done it before. I'm like, it doesn't work like that. Like, you don't just run a marathon and then a year later you can just do another one. I had to go completely back to the beginning. I had to get my nutrition right, my training right, my strength training, running, a plan, everything. Like we did that long run together. I didn't just do that.
No, you didn't just do that. And that day I just did that 30-kilometer run, and the next day I guarantee I was more sore than you were.
Yeah.
Because my body wasn't conditioned for it.
Yeah, I actually felt for the first time that you were trying to keep up with me.
Yeah, this is it. So like when it comes to, at the time I was obviously CrossFit or high rocks or height training, no problem. Yeah. But different type of fitness, my body wasn't conditioned to run 30 kilometers.
Exactly.
My knees and my groins. Oh my God, I'm struggling here. So even those that are really fit, you have to put the work in if you want to get results.
Yeah, you do. And in terms of people listening to this who are maybe then coming to the end of the 20s and going forwards, how important is it for us to keep up with our fitness and our health and fitness, like going forwards?
Yeah, more important than ever, because especially like women wanting to have kids. You know, like it's really important that you're really healthy.
Yeah.
You need to make sure your ovaries are healthy.
Yeah.
You know, your stress levels are low. You haven't got that anxiety. And that comes from obviously good nutrition, training regularly, making sure that blood flow is flowing nicely. Your heart is nice and healthy. That's really important. And for men at my age, your testosterone levels or your healthy sperm. Yeah. If you want to be a dad and you've got really bad nutrition, a bad lifestyle, one, you'll probably struggle to find a bird. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And two, you want really healthy kids. You know what I mean? And so you got to make sure you're healthy and you're fit. And also, when you do have a family, you got to have the energy to be able to have a family.
Yeah. And
so if you're physically fit, mentally fit, through eating healthy, training regularly, sorry if you can hear Reese's feet.
That's right.
You're gonna. It's exhausting. I look at my sister being a mum. It's bloody the hardest job in the world.
Completely.
Your sister's the same, right? So if you're not physically, mentally ready for it, it's going to hit you hard. So come to your 30s, start reducing the alcohol, start prioritizing your health, and your next chapter, 30s to 40s, will be enjoyable. Otherwise, you're going to struggle.
Yeah. And sorry, Roots is just playing with me. And for anyone that maybe feels like they don't know how to just break through that, like I know for a lot of my friends and even myself when I was a few years ago, like I didn't know how to break away from that cycle of like just going out partying. How do you get that, I guess, that confidence to just be like, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm happy doing this. Yeah. Kind of leave me be, or not leave me be, but I'm fine with doing what I want. If I want to...
Yeah, I think it's just change up your environment. Yeah. It's in like maybe do a retreat and surround yourself with other people that have a different, with new people and get a different mindset of life, on life. Start going to run clubs, which is massively important now. Again, you see people prioritizing their health, getting up on Sunday mornings and feeling good about it. And you actually have a conversation that you actually remember. So yeah, I think it's just your environment. Yeah. And it's okay to have those friends that still want to drink and party. Cool. See them every now and again. Yeah. But maybe change up your environment. People who want to go places in life, who want to feel good, feel confident, want to be healthy, because time goes quick. Yeah. I remember when we were still in school uniform, jumping on the E10 bus. And look how quick it's gone. And now we're both thinking about family and the next chapter. So yeah, make sure you're surrounded by good people.
Yeah, I think that's so true, because you kind of bounce off each other then. And I think sometimes you can get stuck with thinking that there's only one kind of way or one type of people, type of people around you. But actually, when you do then branch out to these other things, whether that's a run club or like different events, that you actually meet people who are more on your level, and then I think you then feel a bit more comfortable.
And you learn so much more as well. You become open-minded to what other people's beliefs are, blah, 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 and what other people's opinions are, and it's so good.
And you learn so much, and you've got to do that, right? We've got to constantly be evolving.
You have to.
Yeah. So my last question that I ask all of my guests, Brad, is if you could go back to the beginning of your 20s, what would be the one piece of advice that you'd give yourself?
One piece I'd give myself. Don't be such a people pleaser. Don't always be so loyal to people in business. Because sometimes you have to go what's right for you when it comes to business, for sure. For example, I was with my manager probably for too long, just because I liked them. I've been with them. I was comfortable with them, but they probably weren't right for me. So yeah, don't be a people pleaser, but obviously still be a nice person. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, no, that's so good. I think people will take away so much from this episode. Like I know I have myself. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I don't know if you have any last final things you want to say. No, just keep smashing it, Bex. Thank you, Brad. Keep grafting, be consistent. Yeah. And you never know, this could be the biggest podcast out there.
Who knows? That's what I'm aiming for. No, thank you so much for coming on, Brad. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Please continue to like, subscribe, share, and follow us on socials. See you next week for another episode.